I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm gonna keep saying it. K-Wiz is a good player. A lot of other Hwoarangs are good players, but Hwoarang players are getting carried by down 3-4, and it's no joke. It's actually stupid how less you can do against it.
So, I had a very long set with LegendaryMihawk very recently, and it was a great set. He won. It was 14-15 in the end. We were both streaming. It was a really good set. Then after the set, I think during the set as well, he had some very interesting things to say about Hwoarang.
Hwoarang players are getting carried by down 3-4. You get the right reads, and you don't get rewarded. Do the right thing, you block, and you're still in the mix-up. I don't like that.
So I kind of looked at that and I took it, and of course when I first saw it I wasn't too happy about hearing some of those things, but you know, instead of getting salty and maybe causing some drama or just doing, you know, something stupid, I decided, okay, let me take this as a teaching moment instead, because I think one thing that's quite obvious is he doesn't really understand the matchup. I played him quite a few times. You know, he's always complaining about Hwoarang. He always has certain things, you know, he's complaining about, and I guess the best thing I can do is sort of explain how to deal with down 3-4, because it's something a lot of people don't know how to deal with, and you know, instead of getting mad and causing some kind of drama, I best just explain it to the wider audience as well. I know you guys have also asked me a few times how to deal with certain Hwoarang things. I think this is step 1 in how to deal with Hwoarang. I'm just going to explain how you deal with down 3-4, and I think I need to explain why down 3-4 is the way it is before, you know, I continue with anything. And basically what down 3-4 is, it's a low high, plus 14 on hit, natural combo that leads into a flamingo mix-up for Hwoarang, right? Flamingo stance mix-up. And why it is the way it is because it's Hwoarang's best way. It's one of his key moves, and that is why it is the way it is. And I think he compared it to Leroy's down 3-2, and I understand the comparison, but there is a difference between down 3-4 and down 3-2. Down 3-2, Hwoarang's down 3-4 is stronger, and the main difference between those moves is when it comes to Leroy's down 3-2, when you've ducked the second hit, every character in the game is able to launch it. But Hwoarang's down 3-4 is different, and not every character can launch it, but there are good options that a lot of the cast do have to deal with down 3-4 once you've ducked both hits. You know, there's once you find your character's option, you'll be having a good time. Even the character he was using at the time, Dragunov, has multiple good ways for dealing with down 3-4, you know, getting knockdowns and, you know, back to the wall launches actually. Some characters don't get much, you know, the generic thing that everyone in the game gets is their while standing 4. You know, that's the generic thing every single character in the game has, and for Marduk it's while standing 1, and you know, for characters or whatever. But yeah, that's the best way to deal with down 3-4, because even if he does the power crush or forward 4, which is supposed to catch people, your while standing 4 will always be there first. You'll always get there first. And now I'm not under any illusions. Like, I understand Hwoarang is a very difficult character to deal with, and down 3-4 is very difficult to deal with. It's part of the reason I am making this video. But I think certain people really overstate how strong the mix-up is from down 3-4. And down 3-4 itself already has a lot of flaws, with it being Hwoarang's one of his 2 strongest moves in regular stance, that being that and just frame skyrocket. The thing about both of those moves is they have no tracking, and that's their major weakness, and I think people don't take it into account enough. Yes, he does have homing moves and stuff to try and stop you from stepping, but down 3-4 and skyrocket are Hwoarang's 2 most important tools in regular stance, and they both have terrible tracking. Both ways, down 3-4 has absolutely zero tracking. It does not follow you whatsoever. It's very easy to evade for, I think, the entire cast. The bigger characters might suffer, like Gigas and Jack, but other than that, it's not difficult. And once you're in that position, every single character can launch from here, except maybe Steve or something, I don't know. But every character launches from this position, and then the same goes for skyrocket. Very linear, you know, both ways, very easy to step, and those are Hwoarang's 2 most important tools. So already Hwoarang is taking risks by throwing out this move. I understand people can be like, oh, but down 3-4, you know, the mix up after it is so strong. One thing you have to understand about down 3-4 is once you've blocked the down 3-4, like I've showed earlier, you always get a while standing 4 or your 11 frame whilst you always get that. And then once, yes, it is annoying to deal with the mix up, but what you have to remember is there's a simple way to deal with right flamingo stance. Because with Hwoarang, you're supposed to be stepping him whichever way his stomach is. And when he's in right flamingo, step him to the right. Every single option out of right flamingo stance is either linear as hell or death on block. I mean, besides the 2 jabs, which don't really continue anything for Hwoarang, they're either incredibly linear or he dies for doing it. And I'll show you that now. So 2 of Hwoarang's biggest tools out of his right flamingo stance is RFS down forward 4, +8 on hit, forces crouch, +1 on block, and his RFS back 3. A launcher, -10 on block, and you can obviously say, well, that's very strong. It's only -10 on block, gives great damage. But the thing about those 2 options is they are incredibly linear on block to the, well, they're pretty weak to the right side. I wouldn't say linear because this one will track you if you go to the, it will track you if you go to the left. There we go. But both of those options are very easy to be dealt with just with a small sidestep right, and every single time you'll get a launch for it. Obviously, if you do block the 4, if you block the down 3-4, you won't have enough time to step the back 3. It will catch you. Characters with good sidesteps will be able to do it consistently, but other characters, especially bigger characters, will really suffer for that. But you can easily just sidestep right, sidewalk right, both of those options, and then you get your punish for it. And obviously, I was only talking about down 3-4, you know, when it's whiffed or on block there. That's the way to deal with it. But obviously, when it does hit, you do have to take, you will have to take the mix up, because obviously that's the kind of character Hwoarang designed to be, a mix up character. So yes, when the down 3-4 does hit, you can't just, you know, step the options. You have to take the mix up and continue on. But something, you know, people complain about is down 3-4 spam, and that is something that doesn't really exist. So if you find someone doing down 3, I couldn't even do it that time, doing down 3-4 into a down 3-4 and stuff like that, that doesn't exist. Simply because what I showed earlier, that was the wrong option. Simply because of what I showed earlier, remember, I deleted the option. Simply because of what I said earlier, just step Hwoarang whichever direction his stomach is in. If the first one hits, you very easy just get to his back on that. You know, you can do it consistently. Obviously, this is something where big characters may suffer, but you know, once Hwoarang does switch stance and he goes into left flamingo stance, you know, just start walking to the left. The same thing applies as well. You know, a lot of his flamingo options can be beat. So left flamingo options can be beat just by moving, you know, to the left instead. You know, that's probably, I keep choosing the wrong option. That's probably one of the, you know, his biggest tools out of LFS, and just step it to the left. You know, a lot of his options in left flamingo, step them to the left. He does have an option in left flamingo stance to catch people stepping to the left, and that is that back 4 there. But you know, -8 on block. And you know, if you just sidestep block, you shouldn't have a problem just dealing with that kind of stuff. And then of course, when it comes to down 3-4, everyone's favorite follow-up is the sweep bang. There isn't really anything I can say with how to, you know, deal with it specifically, but I think when Hwoarang goes into right flamingo stance, because you see sidestepping right deals with the good options, sidestep right duck is your best way to deal with right flamingo stance, you know, because you're basically trying to shut down the entire mix-up. You know, if it is you sidestep and then you go to the duck, and if you get your timing right, you might be able to do that consistently. I've never practiced it like that because I just, you know how to deal with it. But yeah, that's basically a short overview of down 3-4. It's incredibly linear. There's no tracking on it whatsoever. And once you stay ducking on the second hit, you can, you know, you have your while standing 4 or your while standing 1. A lot of characters are good counter options as well. And obviously I'm under no illusions. I know it is difficult to deal with. I do understand online it can be a pain, but I just don't like the state when people start throwing out this person's carried by certain things or whatever. I don't like that. Unless you're playing version 1 Leroy, I don't believe anyone is really and truly carried. And I don't like, you know, the spread of misinformation, and that also does lead to hate being sent players' way, you know, just for playing a character. So I hope that helped you deal with down 3-4. If you have any other questions about anything, let me know below. I probably missed something, so please, you know, ask questions and let me know what else you'd like to help be dealt with in the future. So thank you for checking out this video. Please like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed it. Join the Discord, the KWIS Discord, follow me on Twitch, and I will catch you guys in the next video.